Oh, hello. Welcome to our stream. I directly noticed that we forgot to do the white balance.
You had one job. One job.
Yeah, give me a second.
Okay.
So
Let's fix.
give
the
you some
cam.
10. Yeah.
Perfect.
Nice. Okay. And I can also, I'm a bit orange. That every time.
It's super interesting for the viewers now. But
Yeah, it's a bit of behind the scenes. Yeah, anyway, like this.
yeah, it's
No. Okay, I will say like this.
okay.
I pressed the wrong button.
Yeah, just to clarify, there was a restore defaults, and besides that, a OK button,
Yeah.
and he clicked the restore defaults.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No.
Okay.
nevertheless.
Back to the plan. So welcome to our IS stream. So this one will be the last for the next month or two or so, because of vacations and running a bit out of topics. So we need to collect some ideas. But our colleagues will cover. So with backend streams continuing, hardware stream, and then at some point iOS again. But today we will take a last look at the remaining iOS 16 features that we didn't cover last time, and see how it goes.
Yeah, exactly. Last time we started with some iOS 16 features, and we ran out of time, so we thought we finished this list we have, and then yeah, let's see how long it takes. So I've prepared 4 more features. Yeah, and if you have questions, ask them into chat. And yeah, with that being said, I would say we jump right into the code.
Okay, I try to fix the white balance.
Okay.
Okay. Jump there.
Okay. And as I can see, 5 more followers. So maybe we can hit our 100 follower goal.
That would be awesome.
So if you don't follow us, please follow. We need 5 more. So yeah, that's where we left off last time. We had a look at the gradient stuff, and we tried to do some gradients and shadow things. So that was the old stuff. I will delete this one. And what's also new is the new grids. So we know lazy V grids, I think, or how are they called? Lazy H grid and V grids. That's the old ones. That's for dynamic content. So if you don't want to load a whole list into
like lazy stacks.
Yeah, exactly. And the new grid thing is more for layouting and more for static data. So it's not the best idea to use the grids in a for each loop, because the complete list would be in memory. So it gets rendered completely. It's not lazy. So that's basically if you want to align just a few elements on the screen in some kind of table thing. So but maybe I just show a little bit. So the basic thing is a grid, and then we can define grid rows or inside this one. So it's grid rows. And we can say, okay, we do a rectangle here, and change it a little bit. So fill it with color red, and make it way smaller. So 50-50, for example, this one. And then if I add more elements to this row, they get as expected.
Oh, that's nice.
Align next to each other.
Yeah.
And yeah. And
what is if you add more elements than fit in one row? Oh.
Yeah, it's
no flow layout.
No, yeah, exactly. So basically, let's stick with 3.
If you would not give them a width, how would it distribute the?
You mean without the width?
Yeah. equally.
Equally, yeah.
Okay.
So it will divide the whole space equally to the elements. I think, or it looks a little bit.
I think it is, yeah. And I guess you can modify the spacing in the row.
Let's have a look. Yeah, you can the alignment you can change.
Yeah.
And the alignment is a vertical alignment.
No spacing.
No
Maybe then
spacing,
in the
yeah.
grid. Can you change it in the grid?
Yeah, there's a horizontal spacing and vertical
yeah.
spacing.
Okay.
So let's check it out. So horizontal spacing of 20, for example, without this one.
Yeah, works nice.
Yeah. Oh, that's a little. Yeah, it works as expected. So let's stick to that. And now we can also say, okay, I need another row. And for example, I pick one, and this one is already aligned to the columns. So I think I can only say I can span it over more columns. So if I want to say, okay, the second one should fill 2 columns, I can say grid cell columns, and I think I can say 2. Yeah. So then I, like a table, I can say, okay, I need 1 column, 2 columns, or whatever. If I take more columns, then so when I take 3, yeah, okay, then a new column gets inserted.
Yeah, above, basically.
Yeah, so it's basically a vertical columns, also normal column space.
Yeah.
Okay, that's you can say here. The interesting part, everything I put outside a row would automatically fill the whole screen, I think. So there's a divider. That's basically a line.
Maybe put another rect with a color, maybe easier to see.
Yeah, or I move it.
Maybe it's moving, but it's hard to see.
Yeah, maybe we can say let's see if we can
I would just add a rectangle with height.
Okay. That's
10 or so.
Rectangle.
Yeah, there I see it already. Yeah.
So if I don't put it in a row, it's the whole space. So
basically every element in the grid, chat element takes the whole width.
Exactly, yeah.
And then if you put in a grid row, you can have like
so the grid row takes the whole width available, and then the childs in there create the columns.
Yeah. But a bit smart because it controls or aligns the columns, right? So
yeah, exactly. So if I start to add more here, it aligns automatically because it's inside the grid. So the grid element here takes over the complete layouting here.
Can you put the width to the second rectangle in the first row?
Second rectangle, in the middle first row. This one?
No, the first row.
First row, yeah.
Yeah, because now it has the full control over the width and can handle it. But what happens if you change it there?
So what do you want to change?
The width of cell. No, just of the frame of the rectangle.
Okay.
So make it like
so the width, this one here. Yeah. 30, for example.
Okay, so and then if you make it bigger, 100. Okay, then the one below will also grow because the one below doesn't specify a fixed width, and all the other cells, other columns will take the rest basically.
Yeah.
So if you don't specify it, it divides evenly. If one of them has a specific width, it takes this, and the rest is then distributed.
Yes. So basically, you have to think like a table. So if each column gets the space the element needs.
Yeah.
If there's a width defined.
Yeah.
And the rest of the space is then divided equally to the rest elements, so to say.
Yeah.
So it's calculated. But it's nice to align elements, like when you have a game, for example, and you have two teams with scores or something, and you want to align elements next to each other in the correct way.
Yeah.
Or like, for example, the GitHub statistic where you can see your commits with the small rectangles.
Yeah.
So to achieve something like that, you can use the grid. Yeah, but that's basically the thing with the grid. So not
Are there any view modifiers also for the grid? These are always like hard to find. There's some grid.
the cell columns and then grid cell anchor.
So with the columns, you could say we have 10, and then it would like keep the rest empty, or
Yeah, let's test it out. So when I add 10, then
it's broken.
completely messed up. So let's remove these.
Maybe read the comment what it says. It explained it somehow. It tells the view that access a cell in a grid to span. It's meant to be inside the row.
Okay. Yeah, that's the one I used before.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
So basically not on the grid rows or on the element.
Yeah, it's how many cells to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But interesting that you also, it would be okay to add it here. Yeah, because it's a normal view, it's a view modifier, so it gets a view and returns a view.
And it does something with it.
Yeah. So, but the question is, what can we do with the grid itself? Nothing special. So basically only define the cell columns and then the content in there.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's it.
Nice.
Any questions? And as I said, this grid should be used only with static content. So when you know how many items there will be, and not in a dynamic list, which could have 1,000 entries or something like that, because it's not lazy.
Yeah.
This one, it gets completely rendered. So maybe, yeah. Yeah, nothing special here. Okay, so that's the grid. What else do we have? We have an interesting thing is the any layout thing. So often it's hard to define when you have different screen sizes. So to use a V stack or H stack or something like that. And with the any layout, you have an easy way to switch that depending on the size you have. So you could say on a specific size class, you want to use an H stack or an V stack. So so normally when you
can you quickly check if the on air lamp is turned on? It's next to you on the desk on your right side. Is it on?
No, I don't think so. Why? Where?
It was asked in chat.
Okay. No.
Did you re-solder it, Moritz? Or did you just plug it in, because that will not work?
Okay.
It's not connected anymore, the USB port. Okay, back to that.
So yeah, let's do a little bit that we see something on screen. So system, so basically SF symbols. I can't type anymore. So what do we have? For example, person.
Yeah, make it bigger maybe. Yeah. Did you know that you can, I think it was something like Command Shift L or so?
Command Shift L.
I think that's it, yeah. And then if you select the very last entry at the tab bar at the top, the star one, that you now have all the SF symbols in here and can find them here.
Nice. So we can have a look what do we have with person or something. And if I click it, it gets, okay. Then it gets pasted. So let's say this one. But I want to do it a little bit larger. So we have system size
1000.
I think it's big enough. So
Ah,
so basically, we could say, okay, on a large screen, we want to use an H stack here, and if we get a smaller screen or something, we want to switch to a V stack. Yeah, and for that, you have any layout. So it's like so what we need to exchange is the H stack and V stack thing, and we could say, okay, we have any layout here, layout, and then with the layout. And the layouts, they got changed during the beta. At the first versions, you could use an H stack, which doesn't work anymore. You need now an H stack layout. So it took me some time to figure that out. Yeah, basically what that does is rendering a basic H stack. Yeah.
Okay.
And but now we could say, okay, we exchange it depending on the horizontal size class, for example. So with the environment, we can get horizontal size class.
Is there some good way to know all the environments or discover
No.
them? So
I just search for them, or maybe let's check if
yeah, they are.
No, I don't know if that's all the possible things.
Yeah, most likely.
Yeah, but you have a lot of them.
Yeah.
So the calendar we used last time. So we get a default calendar which is used in the device and stuff like that. But what we want to use now is the horizontal size class, and we assign it to horizontal size class. So we can use it in our code class. And now we could say that we do something like we want to exchange this one, so we can say let's add a variable here, layout, and let's do it here because it's easier for showing it. So we say layout, we depend it on the horizontal size class, so we say horizontal size class, we check it now, and we could say if it's regular, for example, then we want to use any layout with the H stack layout, and otherwise we say any layout V stack.
Couldn't you do this already inside the any layout specific, so that instead of having layout, then have to repeat any layout twice? Just say it's an any layout, and then inside any layout.
Okay, you want something like any layout,
and then
here
your condition
basically
above,
this thing here.
Yeah.
I don't know if that works. Let's check.
It should.
But I think it should work. So that's the H stack layout.
Yeah.
Otherwise, V stack layout.
Yeah.
Constructor. So let's check if it's compiling.
It cannot return. It's
So,
not the same type.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why you have to do it that way.
Yeah, because that's some kind of type erasure of the layout. Like any view and stuff like that, it's type erasing the H stack and the V stack layout.
Yeah.
So it doesn't work like that. So we change back to the variable. And H stack, Y stack, that should work. It succeeded. And now we can say with the new Xcode, we have dynamic the orientation values should work, because but I need the max, right? The Pro is always
or you can just change it above to iPad
or iPad, something with a different. Let's take the Pro Max. So restart. So let's see how good that works in the preview.
Maybe we can point again our viewers to our total followers up there, which right now are like almost 100. Maybe if you haven't followed, consider following.
Yeah. But here you can see. So with regular size class, you get a H stack here.
Yeah.
and the other one is the VStack. So
Yeah.
with that, you can switch layouts if you want on the different size classes.
Can
You
it animate it as well? So when you rotate it, that it then...
Good question. So I think the question is, what could be animated then?
If
So,
the items move around.
The question is how I added here the animation. It should be on change of this one, right?
Yeah. You don't have a with animation
No,
thing, right?
I don't have that.
I mean, you can set the animation on this one.
Which one?
The layout, just animation as a view modifier. But usually this is then triggered when you call something with
Value is layout. I don't know if that works.
No, horizontal size class would that be? I guess so. When this changes, then
so let's check.
maybe.
But I think I need a simulator then.
Yeah.
Because this one I can't rotate. So let's start up the simulator.
What is this black pill shape thing on
You know what that is.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's animated, right?
But somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is an animation.
Yeah.
It's not pretty, but
yeah,
it's animated.
doing something.
But let's check what it happens without it. If that's the standard behavior.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
the standard.
I would
not,
more like
not exactly.
I mean, if you there's this thing where you can specify animation identifiers or something so that it knows when you rotate it that it's the same element and then can
that's the
transition
how it's
it
called. Yeah, it's the match geometry effect.
Yeah, something.
I think then you can say, okay, you can match. Yeah, exactly. It's that one. You can say you give it an ID and a namespace.
Yeah.
And then you have to define a namespace here, but I don't know exactly how it works. So,
yeah, maybe it's
something like namespace.
and maybe it's an overkill in this case because it already knows it's the same element.
Yeah, I think the match geometry effect is more for if you have two different screens and you want to animate between those, and you have to.
You have the same text in both views, and then you can say that it's the same text, and it can move it. Yeah.
And with the ID, it knows then on the second screen that has the same ID, then it's the same element, and then it tries to animate the transition.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So, but as we saw, that's the basic thing is already a little bit animated. And what we also can do, we also have environment. Maybe sometimes that's also useful. We have the dynamic type size. So basically, if you change the font sizing and the dynamic sizes, so you could dynamic size.
Yeah, and say if it gets too big, then
exactly. And then we could say let's change this one, and we say dynamic size.
Hafsarbeit is hearing some music in the background. I don't hear any music.
I don't hear anything. So dynamic size, and that's what do we have here? Here we have the sizes: large, small, medium, extra large. So we could say if it's now I don't know. Let's say if we have extra large, then we use an H tag. That's if we don't have.
The other way around. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So let's see if I switch here to dynamic type variance. Then we get more. And then let's see what happens. I should continue the preview.
Yeah.
Yeah, here we have
the one.
Yeah, I said if it's not extra large. So we have every time an H stack, only an extra large we have a V stack.
Yeah.
And that's what we see here.
That's cool.
We could also say, I think if it's smaller than.
Not sure if it can do that. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then
How does
you,
this work? Is it an
yeah,
integer there?
yeah, I would suggest that that's some kind of integer. So
I thought that's an enum. It can have still have a value.
yeah,
Yeah, you can you
yeah,
go into it just for that? But scroll up a bit. You don't need it because we have the new Xcode and it has like the sticky headers. So it's a hashable comparable.
okay, yeah.
So it implements
Yeah,
how to
it can
compare.
be
Yeah,
compared. So that's why
yeah,
you can say
the power of
smaller or
protocols.
larger
Yeah.
than, yeah. And that could be useful
Yeah.
if you,
If you now remove the font below so that it actually is applied, yeah, you had this in the way. But basically, if it gets now bigger, it's then it's
here
maybe
it's
better.
switched then.
The use case is
Yeah, we
more
could
clear.
say,
Yeah.
can we say, no, we can't say it.
If you now if you put it to large title or the largest predefined one,
Ah, okay. Yeah.
so it's not so small.
Large title.
Yeah, and then if it gets basically too big to be shown in one line, because of the extra large dynamic size, it switches and
Yeah,
nice.
that's basically not the best example with the three icons, but if you could think about, you have, I don't know, some buttons besides to each other with a large label or something. Yeah, but in some cases it can be useful to switch that dynamically. Because with large font size you don't have the space, and then you could say, okay, then I switch the layout a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah, that's nice.
For example, if you have maybe normally you would have like a title and a value horizontally next to each other, but if you have an extra large
then you
dynamic
can
font
say
size,
do it on top of each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the any layout thing.
And I mean, before that, you would have just to copy the whole, like in our case, the image system name.
Exactly. Before that, you would have something like if blah blah blah, then use a HTAG and extract this to a method or a variable or something like that. And you have an if-else construct.
I mean, you have it now as well. Just hidden.
Yeah, but you
inline.
don't have to repeat the content.
Yeah.
So you can switch it in another way. Because before you couldn't do if so to switch it here inline, because then Xcode would say that one is HStack and it's not VStack, and you have to how is the error called? That's not exact the same view or something like that. It doesn't work without it.
Because you then return the some view.
Yeah, exactly.
Is different types.
Yeah, the compiler doesn't like that.
Ash thanks us for the nice learning in 5 minutes. Great in chat. Yeah.
So that's the thing with any layout. What else do we have on our list? Two more things. So we have SF symbols. I don't know if you covered that before.
I guess I talked about it, but we can show it again. It's really nice.
Okay, let's erase everything here. Switch back to the normal thing. Yeah, no, you can't. So SF symbols. Maybe I open the SF symbols. For now, I only have the beta. I think they are now released with the new Xcode release and stuff.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, but that's still the beta of SF symbols. I don't know if it's released.
While you can now find them in Xcode as well with the one I showed before.
Okay, yeah.
But I think you cannot have this theming thing that you are going to show. Not sure if this is supported.
Yeah, you could, let's check. You can say, okay, monochrome, hierarchical. And you can see some of them already change. They have different layers now.
Yeah.
And palette, so you can have different colors in it. So you can say, okay, the primary color is pink or something, and then you can compose the symbols, so to say.
Yeah.
Multicolor, there's some predefined things when you say, okay, I need that. So for example, an exclamation mark or warning or error style and stuff like that. And let's see where they are. You have the variable ones. And these are kind of cool because if you create apps with animations or where the symbols have to change, because a good example is the
Speaker.
the speaker. So if you want to adjust the volume and you want to display this one, let's see if I can do it here.
Can you select it?
I think I can select it, and now that's the
yeah.
100%. And now when I lower it, you should see that the symbols change. So they have different states, so to say. And the nice thing here is you don't have to calculate it by yourself. So it's predefined for the symbol. And they have, I don't know, I have to check. So there are some breakpoints, so to say, where they change the state of the icon. So
I think with the 3-step one is 0 is off. The 4th state, basically, if you can.
Yeah.
Oh, then a little bit is already 1, and then at 1/3 it's 2.
I would say third here. Yeah, that's the next.
So now
and
in
then
the
66 should be the next one for the volume. Yeah. And
but
so
there can be also more states if you look for time lapse or something. Is it time lapse?
the slow-mo stuff, for example, here.
It has way more.
It has more elements, so you get the animation. So basically, you can also use in your code, and maybe we can do a little example. But basically, it's the same effect. But you could say
how to do this in code.
Yeah. So let's check it quick. So we need some kind of state. So for the percentage.
Yeah.
So
the value is always from 0 to 1, I guess, right?
Yeah, exactly. So you have so 100% is 1, is a double. And now let's do some kind of, let's show an image again. And now system name. So now, what was it? Command Shift L. And then we could say volume. The question is, which one is the...
I don't know if it also... Try maybe just volume. Or I guess, no, I think you need to have the... so it does not hide elements, it just colors them differently. So if you want to have the 3 bar at max, you need to use this one as well. If you open it again.
Let's check. So I need this one.
Yeah, you see there's the speaker wave 2 fill that can also animate if you move the slider, but it has then just 2 waves. Or the one
wave but we want to take this one. So I copy the name and paste it here.
Yeah. And make it bigger.
Yeah.
You could use a frame. Just as an image, use a frame.
Yes, I don't know why I always use a font.
Because it also supports it.
So width, let's
100 or so.
150 and 150. And of course, because it's the image, resizable.
Yeah, but I'm always not sure if you need resizable first.
Yeah, first. Resizable.
Yeah.
Okay. No, it's not exactly. It has to be a rectangle, so I need more width, that it looks a little bit better. Or let's just say only the height. Then the width should. Aspect ratio.
Yeah, and then
can I use it? What is the standard? Okay, doesn't work. Content more.
Just go backwards.
So content mode.
Take content mode.
Bit. So yeah. Now and
finally.
Finally, yeah. And what we now need is one thing to
set the value somehow.
To set the value, yeah, exactly. So let's put the image in a VStack.
Yeah, the slider.
And then we add a slider. So we can control the volume, so to say.
Yeah.
And the slider takes a value, and this has to be a binding. So we need a $sign and a value. So now we get a slider. Let's do a little of padding.
Yeah.
So now I can move the slider here. And
now we need to put the value into the image somehow.
Yeah, let's just print out the value. So we see that the value changed.
Mm-hmm.
Value.
Yeah.
So if I move the slider, we can see, okay, the value is changing. And now we need to add the value to the image. And therefore we have an additional thing, and it's variable value,
Okay.
which takes a double. That's why we use the double.
Yeah.
And then just the value.
Okay.
So just inject in the constructor the value.
Yeah.
And now I can move it and it changes.
Okay. And how can we? I remember when I tried, first didn't find it. How can I change the different modes? This multicolor, monochrome.
Good question.
I don't know if
Let's
it's
see it, how it's called. It's rendering. Then I would think about we can somehow set the rendering. Yeah.
No, but it's this template thing.
That's not the one.
Yeah. Can you do it with the system image constructor as well? Maybe? Like the variable value? No.
No.
Then a view modifier most likely.
Yeah, the question is how.
Last time I had the same struggle.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, so the rendering mode it isn't. Yeah, good question. Monospaced opacity. How is it called here? Here it's called rendering. Multicolor. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm already checking.
Okay, so
haven't found it yet.
while you check it, I can describe a little bit of the SF symbols, because the cool stuff is here. You have the localization, so left to right and right to left. Some of them are already localized, and you also can create your own SF symbols. That's the cool thing. I haven't done it right now, but I know I watched the WWDC session where they created. So you can create here somehow your, where it is.
It's a foreground style.
Foreground style.
Mm-hmm. And there you can put two colors. Yeah, is there something? Just put in two colors.
Primary 7.
Yeah.
These ones.
Try this.
So this take red and blue. No. They need exact things. So what they need shape styles.
But it should work with
the
color.
The primary and secondary levels of the foreground style. Yeah, that should be the.
Yeah, I guess you need to do it after resizable.
Color.red. Just we added this one and blue. Yeah, and then I move it down.
Yeah, so in the Apple documentation, it's also without the color. Not everything down.
Yeah, sorry. Okay. I use a special user for this, and there my shortcuts are set. So
it's like command and then.
Yeah, I do it so like that. So does it work? Succeeded. Resume the
Yeah, okay.
Okay, and then I could also say a third one. Let's see what, but that's depending on the symbol we use, if you can see it and stuff.
Yeah, if it
I think that the symbol has to support 3 colors.
Yeah.
And I think this one doesn't support.
Yeah, but so that's how you can set multiple colors.
Yeah, that's also nice if you want to do or give it a little touch.
Yeah.
Specific touch and so. And also, as I said before, the great thing is you can create your own symbols. So before, when you need symbols on buttons, for example, the designer made some images and stuff, and then you want animations, and then you get problems how to animate the stuff. Now you could say the designer can create the symbols itself, where he can design the stuff. It's basically an SVG, I think, where you add more
Wasn't
some
there an
layers.
option in SF Symbols to add one? I mean, we don't have the assets, but
there is someone, but I don't know how it.
the bottom left is a plus. Maybe this one.
Bottom left, this one. What happened?
I don't know. Press again.
Nothing. New collection. Oh. Okay, there's a new collection. Then
you need
but I don't know.
Right click, and I hope that there's like an editor so we can.
So
if you
there is an editor, but I don't know how to use it.
Yeah, but that we could just
Custom
show
symbols.
what to know. Is there right click and then add or something?
No, maybe here.
No.
There's somewhere is an option.
Maybe file and then add.
It's this one.
At the top, file and then
new collection.
Okay, we don't know. We're no designers.
Yeah, I don't know.
But there is a way.
I have to rewatch the session.
Yeah.
But there's a way to create your own. Then you can add the different layers and say, okay, this layer is. You can say the percentage, which one is shown and which one not, and stuff like that. You can do cool stuff in there. So if you are interested in that, you have to watch the
basically
session.
all the stuff that you have as SF Symbols, you can do yourself. The multicoloring, the value thing, everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's also, I think it's a cool thing. Because if you want to create something like that, so also the lighter blue stuff.
Yeah.
So if you want to do that manually, it's a pain.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's variable SF symbols.
Nice.
And then last topic for today. We have bottom sheets. I think everybody who does iOS apps has had implemented some kind of bottom sheet before, manually. Now we get it from Apple. So let's do some kind of mock-ups so we can see something. So I would say I just
use the gradient that you showed us last time on the screen, just to have it.
So restore.
Oh, why not?
So let's start with that. Excuse me.
Yeah, okay, remove the gradient. Maybe you need a rectangle.
Okay, let's start with green.
Or is this not working? Yeah, this is working.
So, and now we could say, okay, we need something to trigger the bottom sheet.
Yeah.
So
the button.
Yeah, the standard way is a button and with a label, and we say text is show bottom sheet. So we can see it, and then
perfect coloring with the green.
Yeah, perfect.
And blue on top.
So that's better.
That's
at least I think it's better.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, the bottom sheet. Basically, we all know the normal sheet thing here. So we have, if it's presented, it's a binding. So we have to add some kind of state for keep track of show. Let's say we call it show sheet, and the default is false because we want to show it when we click on the button. So we do show sheet.toggle, and then here the binding $, show sheet, and now the content. And let's just add something here.
Hello.
My awesome bottom sheet. So that's a standard way, and if I click the button, I get a normal modal view.
Yeah.
So the standard modal thing, which I can move down and up, and which covers the whole screen. So, and what I now can do, what's new, I can add a modifier here. So presentation detents, they are called. And I have different ones. So if I tap dot, or no, it's the details. It's an array or a set. So I need an array. Wrong brackets. So, and then I have medium, large, fraction, high, and custom. So if I say medium and I tap on it, then it's the halfway. I also can say, okay, I need medium and large. Then I can move it around.
And we have finally this control thingy there that we always had to implement by hand. And never looked.
That's now automatic. When I say, okay, these are the states I want to use. So if I need 2 states here, then I can just add 2.
And you can have more than 2, I guess.
Yeah. The question is if it makes sense to add them here or to say, okay, we do different ones. Yeah, you can also mix match them. So we can say, okay, we need a fixed size of, I don't know, 130.
I guess you can say 130 and medium. That should work.
That should work. So medium.
Is like the first one what it starts with? No, that's with the smallest then.
Yeah, I think it's the smallest. Oh. So what also should work if I define another height of 80. Yeah. So now I would say it should start with 80. Then I can move it to, that's what's to 80. Maybe we'd say 200 or something, or a little bit more. So now I should have the state between and the medium. So I can switch between those modes. So to say.
And it starts with the smallest.
It starts with the smallest. And then
maybe that can also be influenced somehow.
Maybe. That's these. And then I have also fraction. So if I want to say, okay,
30% or something.
30%, yeah. Also a double like before the value with the SF symbols. And then I have 30%, or I say 66. And you see how it adjusts. That's cool for variable sizes, or if I also say, okay, landscape mode is also available, then fraction would be the better choice, I think, than a fixed size.
What is if you put? Okay, I guess it would be just maximum would be screen height. So with fraction, I mean above 1 is not really.
Yeah, that's something. Not.
But if you
it stops by the max height.
And with the fixed frame height, one, I guess it's the same. If you put a height from 1000 or so, then it will also.
Yeah. The maximum.
It will not break the layout.
Yeah.
I remember there was another modifier, I think, where you can control if the little handle should appear or not.
Yeah, it's a presentation
drag indicator.
Yeah. So let's set it to visible to show it again. So it's this little gray thing here, which you can drag. So if I say it's hidden, then it's gone.
Yeah. And you can also, if you just have one size above, one detent, then you can show it because default is it hides it. Yay, we have a new follower. So almost there at the 100. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
So what do you want to do?
Yeah, one like size? That. Yeah, so if you just comment out the drag indicator, so the default is no indicator, but if you want to have it to indicate, you can drop it down to visible. Yeah. And then
so in Swift UI, always when you don't add it, then it gets the default. And the default is for one size that it's hidden.
I guess the default is in this case automatic.
I think
that was the third option, I think, and then it's automatic, which is I mean it makes sense if you cannot resize it.
Then the handle makes no sense.
Yeah, but you can maybe dismiss it with it.
Yeah, it's to indicate the user that he can track it.
But
because without it, then maybe he thinks, oh, where's the button to hide it or something.
Yeah, exactly.
If he isn't familiar with iOS.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the end of my list for the iOS 16 features.
Okay, maybe we can ask the chat if there are some other iOS 16 features that we should try out. We also
Yeah, the newest feature, but I haven't tried it, and I think we don't have enough time today.
in 9 minutes.
But this thing here. So
The dynamic island.
yeah, so everybody who saw the product presentation last week for the iPhones, that's the simulator for the iPhone 14 Pro Max, this one. But it has the dynamic island, they call it. So it's basically where the camera is hidden and you can use it to show notifications and additional stuff. So then this one expands and you can define something. But we haven't tried it out yet because I think the SDK for it is just available in the Xcode 14.1 beta, which I installed today. So I haven't had time to test it. But I had a quick look at the documentation at Apple. So it's basically you have to define a widget and then you can say it's with the activity kit that is called. But we have to look it up before we can show it. But I think maybe in a future iOS stream or maybe in our new project, which we are currently planning, maybe can make use of it there.
Yeah, and the chat has some activities. I want to thank Cell Shell Seashore for the follow. We're always only 3 left for the 100. Thanks a lot. Also said hi in chat, and some bits from Stefan. Also thanks for that.
Yeah. Any questions in chat? Otherwise, I would say we close the stream here.
Yeah. So Mo said he liked the format. I also like it's nice, but you run out of topics at some point.
Yeah, basically this format is cool directly after the WWDC when the new stuff arrives.
It depends. So maybe you can also cover simpler stuff like just a button or whatever.
Yeah, we are open for ideas. So chat, if you have any topics we should cover, like in some kind of this format, then tell us. You can also send us DMs on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, all the social media thing. Just give us a hint on the topic you want to have, and then we try to cover it.
Yeah, now chat discovered my emote. The best picture. I think Thimo also has one.
I don't know.
I think you have one, and Andreas has one, and Moritz I think as well, and Christian. So that brings us also to our colleagues. Yeah, there's Andreas. So next week, I think we will still have 2 streams. The hardware, Raspberry Pi remote controlled car office racer project. And on Friday, one more time Vapor. That's right. Yeah. Backend.
We will continue where we left off last time. It was the mock server Moritz started. So we will continue there.
Exactly. And then the week after, as we said also in the beginning of this stream, we will pause a bit the iOS streams, maybe collect some more topics to show in this format. I also enjoyed to just try things out because we run a bit out of ideas with the movie app we had for a longer time, but it was like always the same then at the end. So I think this is what we had today is much better for like short for this 1 hour thing, but we need more topics there. But yeah, so then the other streams will continue and we will come back soon. No worries. And also on YouTube, the last stream should be live already. Or in 3 minutes.
The part 1 of this thing where we started last time should be available in a couple of minutes.
Exactly.
So if you want to watch this, then head over to YouTube. And I think that's it.
See you next time.
Bye bye.
Bye.